Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 10 o'clock. It's ready to start our Commissioners Court for the 11th of September. We do have a quorum present, so I'll call this meeting to order. We're going to have an opening prayer by Pastor Linda Lewis of Mount Olive Baptist Church. However, before we do that, we're going to take just a moment of silence for the disaster that we had 22 years ago, 9/11, okay? So just a moment of silence and then go ahead and pray just whenever you get ready to.
I'd like to say good morning to everyone, and having that moment of silence took me back to the time and place and what I was doing during that time. I remember it just like it was yesterday. I just had a grandson who his mom wanted him to be born on 9/11, but he was born on 9/12. But that is a time that we know that our country was shaken once again. So in all that we do, coming together, doing what we're doing, we should always band together to remember those lives that was lost, those families that are still going through what they're going through. It is a day that things that happened that we will never ever forget. So let us always remember those things and stay in prayer for our country, for our nation, for everyone, the families, and all that is involved. So we can bow our heads for a word of prayer. Oh, gracious Master, thank you, Heavenly Father, for this day. Lord God, we thank you that you have protected us. You had brought us to this day of a remembrance of the things that happened over 22 years ago, but it was just like yesterday. Lord God, some hearts are not easy to dismiss what have happened, and some are. But as we go forth and doing the everyday thing that we need to do as our city officials, commissioner is doing all that they can do, our judges, Lord God, we're asking that you give them the wisdom, you give them the knowledge, you give them the strength that they need, the guidance, oh God, to be able to lead, to direct, to support. And we as community members, oh God, help us to be able to support their duties and the things that they are attempting to do. Hold us together, oh Lord, keep us, Lord, whatever differences we might have, that we still can come together and be united as a community that need the support of one another. Thank you, oh God, and I ask you to cover everything that's being said, everything that's being done. In your name, Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Lewis. You're welcome to stay with us today if you'd like, or you can leave at whenever you get ready to. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. And how appropriate, but now let's have our pledges to the flags.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Commissioner Hollowell. We have one person that requested to make a public comment. However, We'll wait until that item comes up on the agenda, okay, when we do that. And when that happens, we'll recognize you then. Presentation of proclamation declaring Constitution Week to Rebecca Crockett, chapter of the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution. And what I'll do is I'll read it from here, and then we'll all come down and get a photo op or whatever we need to do. Glad to have y'all with us today. Cooke County Commissioners Court proclamation declaring Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law, and whereas is fitting to and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary into the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate it, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuance of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Cooke County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize and proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week in Cooke County, Texas, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, passed and approved on this 11th day of September 2023. And what would you guys like to do?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Motion, Commissioner Snuggs. Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor?
Aye.
This declaration, proclamation passes 5-0. And if you were to start signing right down here, we'll present that here in just a minute. Maybe we can just do it here, or we can do it out in the, wherever y'all would like to do that.
Wherever, to you.
Outside, maybe on the steps, I think would be a good thing.
Okay.
It's not 110 degrees out there today, so. We're at 10:14. Brings us to item number 7, which is the consent agenda. And the consent agenda includes non-controversial and routine items that the court may act on with one single vote. The judge or a commissioner may pull any item from the consent agenda in order that the court discuss and act upon it individually as part of the regular agenda. Deliberate and consider possible approval of minutes and so forth and so on.
Let me pull B and W.
B,
B is in Victor.
okay. Commissioner Hollowell wants to pull item B and W.
You say B is in victory?
B is in Bravo.
No, B is in victory. B and
Oh, you said V.
B is in victory.
I thought you said B. Maybe I need to clean my ears out. Okay, V is in Victor, W is in whiskey, right?
Yes, please.
And I would like to pull U.
As in uniform.
Yes.
Commissioner Arndt pulls item U. Anybody else have anything?
I'll make a motion we approve except for Victor, whiskey, and uniform.
Okay, Commissioner Snubs makes a motion that we approve the consent agenda with the exception of Victor, whiskey, and uniform. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Hollowell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Let's go back to the first one that was pulled, which is item Victor V.
I'll actually talk to V and W both at the same time because
Okay.
they mirror each other for the most part. This is a little bit unusual, so the reason I went ahead and put it on the agenda. These are developers that come into Cooke County, and for marketing purposes, they want to ensure that the roads will be paved. You don't see an amount there because this may be 16, 18 months down the road. You know, there's an election coming up, I may not even be the commissioner, but they would like some assurances that the roads will be paved. Both of them have agreed to pay the county to do it, or if for some reason the county can't work it into their schedule, they will pay a third party to do it. I can't see that it would have a negative impact on any seated commissioner on this court or on the county for us to, I mean, it's almost a blank check because we don't know what it's going to cost. And when we get there, if it's cost prohibitive for them, I mean, they're going to, if the county does it, they're going to pay the county. If the county can't do it, they're willing to pay a third party. So if they, at that time, if they don't like the number, it just won't happen. But that will be their decision. So this way they can go market and say we fully anticipate that the roads around that subdivision will be paved. One of them has given you an estimate, the first one, Timber Ridge, for a third party, and based on today's numbers and the distances that they're going to go do, was $114,000. But obviously we're not going to accept anything until they have a check in their hand. And they've, you know, so I would, again, we've never done anything like this before. It is tentative, but I would make the motion on V&W that the court agreed to accept the donation when presented.
Okay, one question, if I could. I assume that will be inspected by Commissioner Precinct 1 when done, or approved by,
Well, and that's in the notes that says
Okay.
ultimately they'll need to meet subdivision guidelines on, with the exception of if they're going to go in and pave an existing road, 176, 175, for instance, we don't have 60-foot of right-of-way. We can't, you know, I wouldn't think we would impose upon them to meet subdivision guidelines from that standpoint, but it does need to meet compaction criteria and stuff of that nature. So they need to, and, you know, that's the reason I spell this out, and hopefully it'll be kept with the minutes, and if it needs to be resurrected, this pretty much states what they're responsible for. Okay?
Okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Hollowell, to approve items V and W, Victor and Whiskey. Do I hear a second? Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Victor and Whiskey pass 5-0. Item uniform, Commissioner Arndt.
This is for Lindsay Volunteer Fire Department on their mutual aid agreement. I just want everyone to know that I am on that fire department, and I'll abstain from this just because it's money coming in. I don't have to, but I don't want it to make it look like that I'm sitting here giving them money. So I will abstain on this one.
All right.
I make a motion, we approve item U.
All right. The motion is made by Commissioner Snuggs to approve item U. Any second? Second is Commissioner Sicking. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Item U passes 5-0.
4-0. And one
Oh,
abstention.
I'm sorry, you're right. Item U passes 4-0. We have one abstention, Commissioner Arndt. And with that, the consent agenda has passed. Item number 8, presentation by is it Patillo or Patillo? Patillo, Brown and Hill, and acceptance of the FY22 annual financial report. Thank you very much for doing that.
Of course, thanks for having me. We can take the photo afterwards if y'all want to take a photo with me too. We sure can.
This is Kent Willis.
Thanks.
We'll take you by yourself.
Okay, that sounds
None of
great.
us.
Thanks for having me this morning. My name's Kent Willis. I'm an audit partner at Patillo, Brown and Hill. We're based out of Waco, but we do audits of local governments all over the state of Texas. And we've worked with the county for several years now. And I'm here to present the results of the FY22 financial statement audit and the single audit. So you should have two documents in front of you, or two kind of spiral bound documents. I'm going to start off with the one with the picture of the courthouse on it. That's the annual financial report.
Anybody got the second one?
No.
Okay. We'll start with the one that you do have, and we'll turn to the other one here in a moment. If you want to follow along, I'm going to point out a few things in the report. I'm going to start on page 1. Seems like a good place to start. Page 1 is the independent auditor's report, or what you're used to hearing is the opinion letter. It's not exactly an exciting letter to read. It's kind of dense, but it does cover a lot of the information about, from the auditor's perspective, what did we do during the audit and what did we conclude. And so my intention this morning is to keep this brief. I really just want to hit the high points of how the audit go, what did we conclude, but I certainly want to answer any questions that you guys have. So if you want to stop me at any point, if you want to drill down into the details, we can certainly do that. So, thanks, Shelley. All right, so as I mentioned, we finished the audit of Cooke County's financial statements for the year ended 9/30/2022. And so under an audit agreement between an auditor and an auditee, both parties make some agreements. And so I like to talk about those during a presentation because I think it gives some context on how an audit goes or how an audit went. But the county, management of the county has accepted responsibility for the financials that you see in front of you. And so all the balance sheets, the income statements, all the numbers throughout here are or comprise the financial statements for the year ended 9/30/2022. However, our job as the auditor is to come in and do two things. We are required to do the audit and then come stand before you and conclude or present how the audit concluded when we finished up all of our work. And so the audit, I don't know if you guys have been audited individually, hopefully not. It's not a lot of fun. I want to talk about what the audit looks like from our perspective. It's about 4 to 5 weeks of what we call field work. And that's a time frame where we have dedicated an audit senior, an audit staff, a manager, and a partner. Our time is dedicated to working on Cooke County for that time period. And so essentially what our guys do, what our audit team does, is every number you see, almost every number you see in this document, from your balance sheets, your income statements, the note disclosures, all throughout, we are doing some sort of procedure, test, or confirmation to ensure that the numbers are correct, right? So if you take a look at page 12 for a moment, I'll put this into perspective. Page 12. So an auditor, we're supposed to be independent, we're supposed to be skeptical, right? I trust Shelley, I trust her team. If I didn't trust your finance people, I wouldn't be here to begin with. I completely trust them, but I'm skeptical. That's my job as an auditor, is to be skeptical. And so looking at page 12, you look at the general fund, that top line, $19,259,000 of cash and investments. So when I show up on day one of the audit, Shelley asserts to me, we have $19 million of cash in the general fund. My job is not to take her at her word. My job is to, how do I confirm that that's true as an independent, skeptical auditor? And so for cash and investments, we actually send a letter to your institutions, your bank institutions, and ask, hey, third party, you tell me how much cash Cooke County had as of 9/30. So it's a pretty good level of evidence for an auditor. I'm trusting your finance crew, but I'm not taking them at their word. I'm asking a third party, how much cash do you have? And so we essentially do that. If you go all the way down the balance sheet and the income statement, we can't confirm everything with a third party, but we do some sort of procedure to make sure that these financial statements can be relied upon by you, by the taxpayers, by bondholders if you have debt, and federal and state agencies who are giving you funding. So it's a high level of assurance that we're giving at the conclusion of an audit. I certainly would never, no auditor would stand up here and say it's perfection though, okay? We certainly are not auditing every single penny. We'd be here all year round, and I think Shelley would be tired of us if we were doing that. Audit standards ask for a high level of assurance, and what that level is called materially correct. So let me describe that term to you if you're not familiar with it. We'll go back to page 1 real quick, and I'll discuss that as well as the opinion on the financials. So page 1 again. Right there at the top, there's 2 paragraphs that are labeled opinions. After all the procedures we've just provided, that I just described, all the procedures we performed over the time frame of the audit, we were able to issue what's called an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. So that's the fancy term for a clean opinion. And what that means to an auditor is that the financial statements in front of you are materially correct. And what that term means is not perfection, but what it means is if there are any errors in here in these financials, that they're so small that they wouldn't affect your decision making as a commissioner's court. It wouldn't affect your taxpayers' decision making or bondholders, things like that. So if there are errors in there, they're small, but certainly not perfect. That's not the standard that we're going for an audit. But any questions on the opinion before I turn my attention to another couple of items here? Congrats on getting a clean opinion. I'm sure you expect to hear it, but we're really happy to be able to present that to you this morning. So good news there. Let's take a look at the general fund again. If you want to turn back with me to page 14. So page 14, what we're looking at here is your income statement for your major funds. And so major funds just means your largest funds. So that turns out this year, that would be the general fund and then your ARPA grant fund. So I just wanted to hone in on the general fund column there. This is your profit and loss, your income statement. Let's just take a step back in time and look and see how the general fund did in 2022. So total revenues, a little over 22 million. Total expenditures, a little over 23.5 million, halfway down the page. And then we account for some total other financing sources and uses of $4,150,000 down towards the bottom, which leaves us with a net change in fund balance, or basically your net income. If you look at that third from the bottom row down there, of $2,692,000. So you put money away this year, or in 2022. So that left the county with $19.1 million in fund balance. So from a financial standpoint, very good year when you add it to fund balance. But let's put that number into context. As an auditor, I get asked all the time, how much fund balance should we have as a local government? And that discussion could be hours. I mean, there's a lot of unique and individual aspects to a government that would add to that conversation. But let's just look at it kind of at a high level of how many months of fund balance do you have? Essentially, the thought process is, as of October 1st, 2022, if the county suddenly had no revenue, right? You suddenly had no revenue coming in the door, how long could you last on your fund balance? That's the kind of the thought experiment that we do. And so if you take that $19 million at the bottom and divide it into your total expenditures, that turns out to be a little over 9 months, 9.7 months of fund balance, almost 10 months. That's extremely healthy spot to be in financially for the county. And I commend you guys on that. I know you may have some projects upcoming. It looks like you have some construction potentially incoming in the next few years. But almost 10 months of fund balance is extremely healthy financially. The bare minimum recommendation is 3 months. You don't want to go below that. So you guys are well over that bare minimum, which I think is prudent given the way costs are increasing right now. As you guys can see that in your day-to-day life, everything costs more right now, right? So if everything costs more, I have less control over my property tax revenue these days with property tax reform and things like that. You want to have money set aside in the general fund to continue operations, to weather a tornado, or if the HVAC system fails in the courthouse, unforeseen capital costs. You want to have a strong fund balance in the general fund. So I commend you guys on a healthy fund balance in the general fund for the year ended 2022. Any questions on that or comments before I move along to the next topic? All right. So let's turn our attention to the blue spiral bound document, and then I will close for the morning, let you guys get back to the rest of your agenda. So in the blue document, if you'll follow me to page 6, all right, so the opinion that I talked about a second ago, that was what you normally think of when you think of an audit of a set of financial statements. That was the conclusion we reached after we looked at all your balance sheet and income statements, profit and loss, all that good stuff. This document is what we call the single audit report. And so the page we're looking at is the listing of federal dollars spent by the county during FY22. So as you're aware, the county applies for grants. And in some cases, if you look not halfway down the page, the second item you see on the page, the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, that one's kind of an outlier when it comes to grant funding. It was extremely unusual, of course, because of the COVID pandemic. But the rest of the items you see on this page are probably federal grant programs that you're familiar with, that you've had for years. But this listing shows, again, expenditures of federal dollars during the entire year. And so as the outside auditor, when we come in to start an audit, if that grand total at the very bottom, in your case, it's $5,474,000. If that grand total exceeds $750,000, that triggers what we call a single audit. And essentially what that means is the feds have farmed out to us the job of coming in and looking at this list, selecting one or more of the grants, and digging into the details. As you know, these grants do come with strings attached, right? This isn't free money exactly. You've got to spend it on certain things, right? You've got to report to your federal agency every so often. You've got to follow all these different rules. And what they ask us to do is to come in, select one or more of these, and make sure you follow the rules. And so the one that we select, or the programs we select, depends on how big are they and how risky are they. Well, if I look at this page, I see one particular grant that's kind of big. That's your ARPA money, $5 million. And I would also consider it kind of risky in a way because it's a brand new grant. If you recall, those rules that guided this grant were changing on the fly. The money came out to the county before they even finalized how the money could be spent. So we selected that grant and we drilled down into the details to make sure that you spend it on the right stuff and that you followed all the various rules that the feds have set forth for you. There's a letter kind of guiding or documenting how we concluded. If you want to look at that, it's on page 3. But suffice it to say, the same general opinion that I mentioned earlier and materially correct, that's the same guidance we have to follow for this testing. And so we do not have any findings to report, no non-compliance to report. And again, we've issued a clean opinion over your compliance with that ARPA money of about $5 million for the year. So I want to commend you guys and your staff for that. As I mentioned, the rules governing this program changed after the money came out and after you guys received it. That's challenging to follow those ever-changing rules and make sure you're in compliance. And so for you guys to be able to stay in compliance, get a clean opinion on that for this year, something to be extremely proud of for sure. So in both realms, under the financial statement audit, single audit, clean opinion, really as good as it gets for an audit of a local government. So with that, let me stop for a second and see, is there anything I can explain better, any questions you might have, or any comments you'd like to make as I conclude here today?
I'd just like to comment and do appreciate your efforts. You were here a long time doing that, but I also like to once again express my appreciation for the work Shelley did on this. A lot of her work was over and above and outside of normal hours and everything else. Thank you, Shelley.
This year has been challenging, not just for Cooke County, but for all of our clients. If you look back on page 1 of that first document, it mentioned a new accounting standard, GASB 87. That standard has been painful, just to say the least. It has required all of our clients to spend a ton of time outside of the day-to-day and outside of your regular audit procedures to prepare for that accounting standard and make sure the county presented that correctly. So we do appreciate Shelley's efforts and yours for supporting her during that as well. So, all right. Thank you for your time. If y'all ever have any questions, we're always here. We'd be happy to come and chat with you. So have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You gonna stick around with us for the rest of the?
I sure can if you need me.
We're good.
Well, we better let you go while we can.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you. Pardon?
I'll make a
Yes.
motion that we accept the report.
Have a motion to accept the report, Commissioner Snuggs.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Presentation was accepted 5-0. Item number 9 is open a public hearing at, we'll say it's 11:38 or 10:38, I'm sorry. In regards to request by Brad and Patricia Wilcox for rezone of 5 acres out of 22.65 acres in the James House survey on Log Cabin Road at FM 922 in Valley View, Precinct 2, from agricultural to residential. And
Morning,
Brad,
y'all.
if you would you identify yourself?
My name's Brad Wilcox.
There you go.
Sorry, guys. My name's Brad Wilcox. My wife and I bought this property from Larry Scoggin in February. We didn't realize at the time it was in the Lake Ray Roberts zoning, so thanks to Commissioner Snuggs, he has helped me, directed me in all the right places, let's put it that way. I'll tell you, like I told the people at the Mountain Springs Planning and Zoning thing, I am not trying to build a subdivision. This is not what this is about. I don't want a subdivision out there any more than anybody else does. We moved out here to get away from that. So this is for me and my kids, my wife. We're trying to build us a little family homestead out there. We tried to do everything in the world to get our kids to be able to build their credit and finance them a mortgage without rezoning this. We talked to 20 different mortgage people, and every one of them said, no, they've got to own the dirt before they can get a loan to put a house on it. So I cut out, based on y'all's minimum standards on lots, I cut out 2.5 acres for each one of my boys. I have a 23-year-old that's in sales, and I have a 19-year-old that's a firefighter paramedic. And he also, my firefighter paramedic, works for us too, on farm stuff. So we're just going to cut those 2.5 acres out and give that to them. John Moss is going to do the gifted deeds and everything for us on that and all the paperwork as soon as y'all approve it. Delbert has already done the surveys and everything because he did the original surveys. So we're ready to go other than this. Mountain Springs Water ran the water line out there for us. And Pentex is supposed to be out there this week to put electricity in. So we're ready to go with everything we have as long as y'all approve it and everything's good.
Anybody else speak to this one? All right, thanks, sir. I'm good, you can close the hearing.
All right, go ahead and close the,
Does anybody else want to speak to this?
nobody indicated that they did. Close the public hearing at 10:40. Get my notes together here. All right, item number 11 is to deliberate and consider possible approval of the request by Brad and Patricia Wilcox for rezone of 5 acres out of 22.65 acres in the James House survey on Log Cabin Road at FM 922 in Valley View, Precinct 2, from agricultural to residential.
I make a motion, we approve the P&Z has approved it, so.
All right.
Second.
Motion to approve is Commissioner Snuggs. Did I hear a second from Commissioner Hollowell? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Congratulations, Brad.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Item number 12, we're going to turn right around and open another public hearing at 10:42. Request by CCI Investments Limited for rezone of 2.87.282 acres at the corner of County Road 275 and 276, Valley View, Precinct 2, from agricultural to residential. Do we have anybody that, and we do, you emailed in earlier, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I sure did. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Amy Bissett. I'm with 97 Land Company. We're a zoning consultant that is representing the property owner today. We also do have one of the property owners should be walking in any second now if you have specific questions for them. And I did email over some slides this morning, but I have some big hard copies of the maps if anybody needs a copy. I know I saw at least one up there on the dais.
I'd like
We
to
good?
have one.
Yeah.
We also went to the Lake Ray Roberts Planning and Zoning Commission meeting in August, and as Commissioner Snuggs knows well, it was a pretty loud meeting, so I just wanted to make sure that I was here to convey the intent of the property owner this morning and to answer any questions that you have. Looking on the first map slide, the zoning change, this shows the approximate location of the property in question. The request is to rezone from ag to residential acreage with a minimum of 2.5 acre lots. And it is at the corner of County Road 275 and 276. I left off one of the parcels on this first map. There's that little sliver parcel of 20109 that is included in this as well. If you will turn to the current zoning map, you can see the location of the property approximately. I just kind of created a circle that it's within so that you can see based on the overall Ray Roberts zoning district where this falls. We are requesting RA, or residential acreage. And on the next page is the future land use plan that shows that the designation for future land use in this area is lake residential, which is consistent with the zoning change that we're requesting. And then if you flip to the next page, you will see the rough concept plan that the property owner has prepared. Basically, while this is a lot of acreage that the request is to rezone, the vast majority of this acreage is within the floodplain and therefore non-buildable. So the concept plan before you shows 9 lots that range in size from 2.5 to 5 acres. And then 4 large estate lots that range in size from 49 acres to 82 acres. And those 4 lots would encompass the floodplain property that is included within the boundary. And if you flip to the next page, you can see I've got a FEMA floodplain map to show the extent of the floodplain on the property today. So essentially, we're talking about 13 lots overall, with 9 of them being between 2.5 and 5 acres, and the remainder being large lots, roughly 50 acres or above. And I am happy to answer any questions that you have, but that is all I have to present this morning. Thank you.
I haven't talked to the landowner, but they do know that the yellow roads in there will all have to be county specs, right?
That is correct. So the yellow lines that are shown on the concept plan are proposed general locations of road, and they would comply to all county specifications. That is correct.
And this road is the road that we closed at the last court. So that's gonna be.
Which one?
This one right here.
Yeah.
And they've talked, but we're probably gonna have an issue with that.
Question here, what becomes of the property that's in the flood zone?
It remains open space with wildlife. The property owner is looking at making sure that there's some conservation that takes place there and wildlife is protected. They've started a process but have not completed it at this point in time. So it will all remain floodplain and open space.
Okay. But there will never be any building there as far as that goes?
No, sir, no construction within the floodplain.
We can talk about that when we get to the agenda.
Okay.
Is anybody else here to speak on this one?
Is anyone?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Who requested the road closure?
This guy right here. And everybody was fine with it, and even these people are fine with it, but.
Wait till we get out of the hearing, have a
Yeah.
public hearing.
Okay, we're going to close the public hearing at, let's say 10:47, 10:40, make it 10:48, ma'am.
What if they go back and extend that as a subdivision road?
All right. Item number 14 is deliberate and consider possible approval of a request by CCI Investments Limited for rezone of 287.282 acres at the corner of County Road 275 and 276, Valley View Precinct 2, from agricultural to residential. And Commissioner Snuggs, you want to lead off on that?
P&Z signed off on it. Everything good. I'm gonna make a motion, we approve. And this is just the original zoning change. This won't have anything to do with the subdivision.
Okay. Commissioner Snuggs made a motion to approve item number 14. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 14 passes 5-0. Item number 15 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding the 2024 sheriff and constable fees.
Any changes at all that we need to know about?
Do I? We
Yes,
might.
I asked if there's any changes, Sheriff.
Excuse me,
Are there any changes?
just one change. If you look down, I think it went from $35 to $50 per hour. What that is, if we get called out to a civil standby, we're usually there for 15 minutes, let somebody get their personal belongings or overnight, whatever they need. But if we go out to an incident where we're there for hours, where someone's may have to move a whole garage full of stuff or half of a house full of stuff, then that $50 could apply. As far as we would get an off-duty officer to come out and be there during that duration. So we're not gonna send an officer on duty out there and set 4 hours or 5 hours or 8 hours or whatever, so someone can move their belongings. So anyway, it was 35 an hour, so that went up to 50, but that's the only change on that document.
Move to approve. I'm sorry.
I had one question. Used to, we had civil standby, but it seems to me like during the time I was gone, or some point in time, the sheriff's department quit doing civil standbys. Did that ever happen? Or, I know you're doing them again now, but was there a time where you didn't do the civil standbys?
I don't know, Judge. I mean, I've been sheriff for 2.5 years, so we've
Okay.
done them for the time that I've been sheriff. We'll do them when we can do them. I think, your constables are gonna do some of those as well,
Right,
so.
okay. We have a motion to approve, Commissioner Hollowell.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Thanks, Sheriff. Item number 16 is no action. Item number 17, deliberate and consider selecting the Honorable Tricia Jacks, Sabine County Treasurer for the Texas Association of Counties Health and Employee Benefits Pool as the director to complete the third year of a 3-year term beginning October 1st, 2023, and authorize the county judge to sign the special ballot.
Is there,
Any questions?
this is like a standard procedure type of thing?
It's my understanding, yes. I'll make a motion we do so.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Arndt. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none.
Judge,
Yes.
do we need to back up to 16? Do we not have to approve that fee change?
Do what now?
16 was just an
16,
error.
we didn't do.
Oh, 16's a skip. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I was
That's why there's
wondering.
no action.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. Had a
Unless
moment.
you want to
I will make
possible
something up.
regarding Judge John O'Roan. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get all of that, Pam? You got, okay,
We voted on the fees.
Yeah, we did that, but
we did that.
it's showing 15, it's, anyway.
We just
Moving
no
right
action,
along.
16.
Yeah.
All right, item number 18, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Chapter 381 agreement with Riverside Home Builders Limited. Commissioner Snuggs.
I'm gonna do no action on this and bring it back next time. I'm waiting on some more information on this.
Okay,
You getting any legal on that, Jason?
I put it on the listserv. I'm waiting to see what I get, and I've contacted Jim Allison on it.
Okay, thank you.
appreciate that. Item number 18 is no action. Item number 19, deliberate and consider possibly accepting the FY23 State Criminal Alien Assistance Grant in the amount of $30,970 and designating use of funds per grant requirements.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve is Commissioner
Oh,
Hollowell.
hang on. What,
You gotta pick,
gotta pick one of them?
on every award we've gotten, we set it aside for mental health in the jail to
Okay.
pay for mental health.
Okay, I amend the motion to approve it with it being designated to mental health.
Designated what?
Mental health,
Okay, item number 19 has been amended to indicate mental health as the designated portion of the grant.
yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second. Commissioner Snuggs, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? And there are none. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 20, deliberate and consider possibly moving money for the EMS 5 generator and budget amendment for the same.
Did we get some grant money for that one, Shelley?
No?
Yes.
Oh, we did?
Yes, ma'am, that's in the Siri grant,
Oh.
State Emergency Communications grant. Where we reimburse for.
So we're gonna get reimbursed for this? Okay. Well, there's not enough money in the line item to pay for it. So, he needs a budget amendment for $1,200.
1,228 is what this shows. Are we gonna be reimbursing the entire cost? Or partial?
It will be very close. Yeah, it's been a long time, probably the grant was approved last year, but since.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Good morning. Yes, the Siri grant, State Emergency Communications Grant, comes out. This will be our second time we've gotten some funds from it. We had applied for a significantly larger amount than we were awarded, but with the money we were awarded, looked like a good amount to go to ensuring communication capability with an emergency generator for EMS Station 5 in Valley View. And so that amount, I don't have it exactly in front of me, but it was approximately $30,000 for the grant. We got the quote based on the grant, and so
It's 31,000.
but for some reason, I don't know why the budget line didn't have that amount in it. And so, when it's done and paid for, then we submit that invoice to TCOG, who gets the money back for us and will be returned to us.
Now all 5 stations have generators.
I think you're right. I'm not positive they all
No,
do.
we spent a ton on generators for
You all- will
EMS.
that
We
put
have
a
them.
generator at all 5 stations? Okay, yes.
So do we need to move on with this budget amendment so we can pay it and then you get reimbursed, Shelley? Is that your plan?
Yes.
Motion to
He can't
approve.
get a PO because he doesn't have enough money.
Motion from Jason.
We have a motion from Commissioner Snuggs to approve, let's see, which item are we on?
Where are you gonna take the money from?
Wherever the wonderful auditor tells us to. There's a budget amendment in here saying it's coming, it doesn't say
Well-
where it's coming from, does it?
You can, contingency's fine.
Contingency, and it's gonna be reimbursed in, you say, from the
Matico.
grant?
State Emergency
Okay.
Communications Grant.
You can modify my motion to pull the funds from contingency.
Okay, motion to approve
Budget amendment from contingency.
19, good.
19. Page here. It's actually 20, okay. Item number 20, deliberate and consider possibly moving money for the EMS 5 generator, and budget amendment for the same was made by Commissioner Snuggs with the caveat that the money come from the contingency to be replaced by the.
We
is
don't
that-
need, we don't need that.
Don't need that, okay, from contingency.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Art. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Item number 21 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding a burn ban. It's you again.
Yes,
Ray.
sir. Since I'm already here, I'll just discuss that. I provided a couple of handouts in particular. The KBDI, as of this morning, is at 746. And as you can see, we're almost all red. We were a couple of days ago until we got that little bit of rain Friday. And then our drought situation is that we were moved into a severe drought estimation on Thursday last week. In addition to that, we had a pretty significant fire up in the very far north part of the county off County Road 417 that started Thursday and then somehow reignited on Friday afternoon. And so, or Wednesday, and then Thursday it reignited, and Friday we're back out. It's been a long few days there. I think we had at least 8 fire departments throughout the county. We had 5 small engines from the Forest Service, 2 dozers from the Forest Service, Precinct 4 dozer, and water tender, and the Sheriff's Office drone team, and just a good amount of resources that we needed every bit of it. And
Let me stop you just a second, if you don't mind. Can you remember which units actually came up there and helped?
I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
So St. Joe Fire Department came over and helped Munster Fire Department. It was in Munster Fire Department's district. Myra Fire Department, Lindsay Fire Department, Moss Lake Fire Department, Callisburg Fire Department, Indian Creek Fire Department, and North Shore Fire Department all responded. And Era, yes,
And
on
Era,
one, that's right.
okay.
Yep.
What was the initial cause on Wednesday?
My understanding was agricultural cutting hay.
That's why I heard it was hay baler burn.
No, didn't see any equipment on fire, but there was a hay rake in use, I think, at the time, for sure. And it's a very rocky property with, out on a bluff way out towards the river there. But great support from everyone. Long evenings Wednesday and Thursday, a long day Friday. And it withstood the winds that came through, and we didn't get any rain there. And that would go to my next topic, that at this time I would not recommend lifting the burn ban even with the forecasted rains this week, because even with the rain, as soon as it dries out, until we have the opportunity for the vegetation to green up, we're no further along than we were, just a little more humidity in the air. So I think everyone still needs to be very cautious in what they're doing. Hopefully the forecast will come to fruition this week. We'll enjoy the cooler temperatures and an inch or two of rain. And maybe by next court, we'll be in a position to safely lift the burn ban so we can go on about our business.
Also like to add you and our own Commissioner Sicking to that list too, because I know you both put hours out there too and equipment, so
And
thank
we
you.
appreciate it. We got paid to be there. Commissioner Arndt also in a volunteer
Thank you,
capacity as well as that. But a significant number, in fact, well, in Gainesville's Brush 3 did come out also. I was going to say everybody out there, as far as fire departments, was volunteers. And we've said that. Be extra careful, because you're taking people away from their families and their business and their jobs and you know, out of the goodness of their heart, volunteering to help us all. And so appreciate all of that.
There was probably, 65 to 70 people there at one time?
Thursday afternoon, there sure was.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I've seen them that bad, but that one was as bad as I've seen in a long time.
It was getting after it.
Yeah.
Very impressive to watch them work.
Sir?
I said it's very impressive to watch them work.
How was the communication?
It's good. Went to ground channel. The other, the VHF digital worked up there. Ground channel worked like it would normally, so.
That might have been a scratchy part for the digital prior to the new system up there.
Yeah, probably a lot of it went off Sybil's Bend, I would bet, way up there.
Well, we do appreciate all efforts, and if you would pass that on to your departments and one thing and another. What do you want to do about the burn ban? I recommend that we take no action. Anybody have any different idea?
I wouldn't lift it till we find out what we get with this rain.
All right, item number 21 is no action then. Item number 22 is deliberate and consider possible landfills in Cooke County. Commissioner Sicking.
Give us the update on that. We talked to Eric Friday, was it Friday? I think he wants to come to our next meeting and.
Yeah, we're actually gonna get somebody from Allison Bass to come up, I believe, next court and speak to us about that. He's actually the one that wrote that provided the wording for the landfill project, didn't he?
I think so, yes.
So I actually talked to him one day last week, and he should be here next week to explain a little bit better what we're looking for the landfill project. But right now, there's no action then on item 22, unless you have something, Matt.
No, sir.
Okay. Item number 23 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Main Street parking lot.
They got all the crews over this morning putting gravel in and getting it shaped up. I do want to ask again, do we want to put signs up for county use, make it 5 like we have in the other ones, or how are we going to handle that?
Y'all's thought, do we want it to be county employees and jury parking during Monday through Friday, or just want to make it free for all? The parking lot that we park in behind the pub does say county employees Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
That'd be consistent.
Yeah, I would think.
Want to put signs there?
I would think it'd be consistent for sure.
We, employees certainly should get the priority.
Yeah. If they'll use it.
I think we need to have, we want to put it on all of them, like the ones along the road there. We could put the reserve parking only, like in the car parking lot has right now. You know
What
I'm
are you saying, put one on Weaver and one on Main? On the street, just,
We were on each end, there, east and west end, and then
yeah, there's just three.
we also have the parking off the road, right straight across the library. Do you want to reserve that also? These kind of signs up in that other parking lot, or what do you want to do
We
with that?
could maybe leave those as public, the ones that enter off of Main Street,
In front of the library?
and then do the parking lot for county employees and jury.
Because you might have library patrons question if they could park there if we put it reserved for
Yeah.
county employees and jurors. Might be a thought.
But they could park on the, of course, the library's got plenty of parking, but they could park on the street there if they wanted on Main.
But if you put one sign at each entry to the new parking, at the entries, then that wouldn't include the stuff outside the
Right.
perimeters, would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
Like that still give us what, right close to 30 spots?
And that still opens some up for the public and
And the motorcycle parking lot, you just don't, would leave it open?
Yeah, I would think.
yeah, I don't think we'll ever see it full.
You know, right?
Well, maybe one of the parade days,
Go to electric.
parade days maybe.
And the only thing we could really do is that little spot there.
Do we need a motion for signage?
Matt's,
How do we need
Matt's,
to do that, Shelley, to
We'll need-
order those two signs?
We got any money
Where
left?
we get the money from?
I turned in a bunch of tickets for the plastic wrap and the steaks and stuff that I bought. Not medium rare steaks, but ground steaks that I bought at McCoy's over the weekend, so that's all been turned in. So
The line item for the parking lot has money in it.
Okay,
Do we need to make a motion on that, to put the signs up or not, or it's not a?
I think so.
Wouldn't
all right,
hurt.
so we're taking an action.
I'll make a motion that we put up county employee and jury parking Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 only.
At each entry? At each entry?
At each entrance, one off of, I don't even know what street that is.
Weaver, Main, and it's not Commerce, so what is it?
That's the one I forget.
Chestnut.
Chestnut.
There we
Man,
go.
they tried me.
Yeah, off of Weaver and Chestnut, 2 signs.
Did you get that motion, Pam? Do I hear a second? Second, Commissioner Sicking. All in favor?
And then
And that was Commissioner Snuggs that made the original.
And then after today, when our crews are out there, which they might be, I keep checking my phone to see if they're texting me, but we should be done. Pull the barricades, it's open.
I want you to know that I saw Commissioner Snuggs out there surveying the situation this morning at dark 30. I mean, you were really out there.
It was early.
It was early. You were on top of it too. I'm gonna tell you.
You're just a week and a half after Matt now, but that's okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay, do we need to make a motion on this change order, Shelley?
Yes.
What was the change?
I mean, you approved it before you had paperwork. Now you have paperwork, so you need to approve it. So I can pay it. You approved it so they could go ahead and do the work.
Right.
Now you have the paperwork.
So I'll make a motion for the change order number 2. Parking lot.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, change order number 2, Commissioner Sicking, second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none.
That was
Motion passes 5-0.
asphalt.
Sorry.
That was
Yeah.
extending the
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah, let's clarify what that is. That was the asphalt to tie it into the concrete.
Right,
To tie it into, tie the street to the parking lot.
right. Item number 24 is to deliberate and consider possible action regarding real property on Highway 82.
No action.
No action on item number 24. Item number 25 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding broadband services. Commissioner Snuggs,
Nothing at this time.
no action at this time on item 25. Item number 26, deliberate and consider possible action regarding library facilities project.
Well, the project is basically finished. The only thing we're waiting on is the painter to come and paint a couple of doors and a little bit of trim. He's had a little bit of problems, some family problems, so we hadn't been able to get there just yet. But that's the only thing that is lacking, except for the signage on the front of the building. And I wasn't clear if y'all approved for me to go ahead and order signage. It's going to cost about, if we order it online, it's going to cost about $2,100. There are several different places we can get it, and all the prices are about the same. And then we'll put them up there ourselves. Or we can go with Cooper's Copies, which was $2,600, and they will install it. But
Was that money in the original remodel?
no, it was not. We didn't take into consideration the signage whenever we first looked at this.
When you say signage, what do you actually, just county library or?
Cooke County Library
Okay,
on front of the building. We have the old lettering that came off of it, but they're in pretty bad shape, and it would just make the building look better if we had proper sign on front of it.
buy like a plastic 3D letter?
Well, the ones that we're looking at are aluminum, like, that baked on enamel aluminum, whatever that term is, I can't remember the term now. It'll be colored, the ones we're looking at are chocolate brown color, which kind of matches the trim and will look, color-wise, look right on the building.
What's the original ones made out of?
They're aluminum, like a cast aluminum, and they're all that aluminum color.
Can we dress those up and paint them?
Possibly. The problem is when they pull them off there, they have studs on the back of them, and they're all bent up and corroded up. It'd be difficult to mount them back.
Do you think they're enamel? You said they were
Baked
aluminum?
on, yeah, what is that word? I can't think of the word.
So it's not enamel? Porcelain?
It's not porcelain.
Powder coated.
Powder coat, yeah, powder coat, that's the word. They're metal letters that are powder coated. That's the word.
Do we have the fundage for that?
Not to address it today.
I guess maybe if you wanna get with the auditor's office and we'll get budget amendment and bring that one back to us next time for the times.
Okay. That's fine. Other than that, that's all I have on the library unless Jennifer has something, but we're, all the carpet's in, everything's done that we proposed to do.
Okay, well, item number 26 is no action this time, but we'll bring that back next court. Item number 27, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the annex election room remodel.
Well, that project is completely finished, and the only thing that I'm gonna do just to help Pam out is rekey some of that, just to make it so she don't have 14 different keys to all the different doors that are in there. But that'll just be something that I can do. It'll be relatively inexpensive, come out of my budget. Other than that, we're in good shape, as far as I know.
I've got a question for you here. That, we talked about this a little bit the other day, that back door over there, is that, is entry and exit, it's not authorized in there. Why is that?
When we got our CO to move in, it was egress only.
Okay.
People are not supposed to be going in.
In that door, okay. Did they have some problems or something, or do you know?
Well, it's not,
ADA?
that, and you walk out into a maintenance parking. So if something's parked there and you have 15 people trying to get out from a
Right.
fire,
Right.
it's gonna bottleneck. So
Right.
it's not meant to be used as an entrance.
Okay. Did you want to say something about that, Pam, or no?
Not really, we'll find out more about it. I was hoping,
Okay.
of course, I was hoping we could have voters come in there, but we'll have to figure it out.
Pam's
Select.
concern was about voting there and, going to the car to allow somebody to vote, and, curbside voting, that sort of thing. And also moving equipment in and out and everything else. Is there any provision for moving equipment in and out, or does it all have to come in that west door? Does anybody know?
I'd say we need to consult the fire marshal.
I don't,
moving equipment, I don't think it'd make much difference.
I think that's what it's for, is to move equipment and stuff in and out.
Because it's perfect, the way they back up to that curve, it's
I
perfectly
mean-
level, go right in, but
Yeah.
y'all tell me. Or I think we just need to find out from the fire marshal.
Well, there's several things come into play. One, we need to check some history, visit with the fire marshal. Then if it's, becomes an entrance, will it have to be ADA? If it has to be ADA, with the purchase of the Prosperity Bank, are we opening up
Right.
lots of work? If, maybe lots of costs, so we need to, there's several questions there we need to look at.
Well, I'll talk to the fire marshal and I'll check on that. And,
Voting is an issue, parking is an issue for voting.
yeah.
Y'all,
I thought the new parking lot was gonna be.
I mean,
Well,
I would,
We don't have the whole parking lot at this point in time either, because we still have an occupant in the building.
Right.
well, but I mean, as she means out here in the front, if,
Oh, yeah, we can fix that if we can get some cooperation
maybe,
with the elected officials.
maybe,
Dictate to some elected officials that our employees don't park in front of the tag office during the election if we just want to get plain spoken.
maybe if we start now.
Yeah. And ask kindly.
You saying I gotta walk from way over,
I'm sorry, what?
You saying I gotta walk from way over,
Me and you both, but just during election.
Okay, I will talk to the fire marshal and see what options that we have. Item number 27 is no action at this time. Item number 28, deliberate and consider possible action regarding proposed weigh station. 28 is no action.
Do we have, I mean, we've been talking about this thing for a year and a half, or whatever it is. Do we have any plans on that, drawings or anything?
I don't know of any.
Hey, well, there's some drawings,
Are there?
yes.
And there's also a tentative,
Seen drawings where they're talking about doing the loop around here. If they put the loop on there, that way station ain't gonna be any good.
That's right.
It's supposed to be incorporated in there, that TxDOT has it, but
Yeah,
every time I talk to them, they're not ready, they don't know. I don't know.
but don't we have a letter with TxDOT that's basically a tentative agreement that says we buy into it?
Yes.
So we have to do it.
I don't think we have to do anything, but we've certainly, we've
approved
entered
it.
into an agreement with them for whatever that,
Yes.
I mean, we would be retracting our position as a court if we chose to back out of it now. And I think they're actually prepping some highway stuff for an off-ramp, are they not?
Supposed to.
From my understanding, they're getting,
Don't see how it's ever gonna work. I mean, not enough room there to handle the truck traffic.
I,
And if they're gonna put that loop around, then your trucks are all gonna be going around.
I haven't looked at the end down there, you're talking about where it come out?
Do it.
You're talking about there where they come back out?
I'm talking about the loop around here. Talking about starting out.
if they do the north loop, if the whole purpose of using the loop is just to avoid the 82 traffic and congestion, and they turn there and go back south, they still gonna have to hit it. If we just do the loop, 1/4 of the loop, which is something I'm hearing think about right now. Just for instance, it cut off over at 371, go northwest, come out over by Glen Polk, in theory, somewhere in that area. Then they would, if they wanna go south, they get back on 35, so they'd catch it.
Well, I understand, you're gonna start the mall and come around, come out by the airport here and then come around, do the second phase, then the third phase, fourth phase. What I seen, I don't know.
You got later information I do, Matt, because the only discussion I've heard is, well, initially there was a big push to go south from around Radio Hill Road or 371 and come out over around Valley View. That died on the vine, from last word I heard. I don't know, Jason may know something there too, but, and then the next push is to go the other direction. And ultimately with a loop, all the way around at
Right.
some point in the future, who knows? But anyway.
I was just curious of.
Well, I will say that we should bring this back again, but I will in the meantime do what I can to find out what is going on with the weigh station. It's all stuff that happened before my time, I guess, but I'll get up to speed on it and maybe have something to say next time. Item number 28 is no action. 29 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding various grant funds.
No action.
Okay,
Well, basically, I guess FEMA is finished.
FEMA's finished, okay. I believe Ray had something to say.
Yes, sir.
concerning the grants.
The 2015 flood grant was just finally done, as far as we know, and closed out. And that reimbursed the county for repairs totaling $3,667,000.
I forgot to get that for you.
Oh, I got it. Yep. And so, as we all know, there was a lot of hard work in that recovery process by our commissioners and the road and bridge hands, as well as the auditor's office. And as we know, with Shelley's paperwork load has been significant. And so, just wanted to thank everybody for the hard work on that, and understanding that, you know, when we talk about disasters and all of that, that, you know, the response is a lot of work, but the recovery is where it really comes to fruition in your record keeping and documentation and getting those reimbursements to help offset the cost to rebuild the roads and bring us back to where we were. So, good job.
Does that mean that that grant and the audit, does that mean that your desk will be clear now?
Magically.
It'll just go away.
It took me 30 minutes to disassemble the last road for precinct 4 and 45 minutes to scan it in. 1,675 pages.
Wow.
We went out with a bang.
Well, congratulations.
So Chelsea can remove that one.
Yes.
Thank you, Ray. All right. 29 was no action, or other than what we discussed. Item number 30, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Crest Building. Rick, would you like to speak to this one?
Well, I know we were waiting on getting the air conditioning replaced, and that happened Friday. So the air conditioner's in and it's now working properly. The only other thing we're waiting on is inspection on the elevator. That's scheduled for September 20th. And once we get that, to my knowledge, that's everything that we're supposed to do to the Crest Building.
I talked to the lady from Otis this morning,
Okay?
as you have also, and she's going to look at the items that we requested to have fixed on the elevator, and then get back to us on that invoice
Okay.
that was mentioned Friday.
Okay.
Item number 30 is no action. Item number 31, deliberate and consider possible action regarding the Prosperity Building.
Well, the only thing I've got is we're repairing air conditioners. And,
Yeah.
other than that, I don't have anything else on it.
How many air conditioners are in question now?
Well, one of them right now is one we're having more problems with than any of the rest of them.
Okay.
And but the rest, all of them are working. And this one is working. If we just keep having to go back to it, it's problematic. And it's something, hopefully we can get past this summer with it, but it's something we're going to have to look at in the future. It's costing us a lot of money to just keep putting Band-Aids on it.
Okay.
But it's going to be complicated to figure out for sure what to do to replace it. We'll have to talk more extensively about that.
If you would, make sure to keep us up to date as we go along on costs and that sort of thing. Okay, item number 31 is no action. Item number 32, deliberate and consider possible action regarding Cooke County EMS and fire pager system. Commissioner Hart.
I have nothing.
I don't have anything.
Okay, item number 32 is no action. 33 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding the FY24 budget.
I had to add $213,000 to it to roll over a PO for the payment of the sheriff's office new software that hadn't been paid for yet. And then I made a few changes in the some salaries. But for the most part, the budget.
So this,
Well, the budget figure is now somewhere. The general fund budget is now $28,978,056.
okay. Shelley, is that when,
Hang on a second.
okay.
So unless any of y'all want to make any changes to your precinct budgets, or if y'all have anything to add or subtract.
I'm good.
You good?
I can do.
Y'all good?
I guess if you can, do we need to vote on the changes I made?
Probably so.
Well,
Motion to approve the,
wouldn't that be included when we vote on the budget since they've been identified?
They will be, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know that we have to,
In reality, you would probably at least want her to tell you what she changed before
exactly,
you
she
approved it. In detail, Shelley?
The part-time salary in the treasurer's office was not figured right, so I added. Part of the Senate Bill 22 stipend in the jail was reduced by $1,000, so that's subtracted. Based on the salary order from my office, resulted in $4,014 increase. And then in IT, the $213,000. And the computer maintenance line. That's all the changes I made.
Trying to find mine real quick to make sure.
say again.
Trying to get to mine so I can look at this contingency line. I can't get there.
And I'm sorry, I increased the part-time pay in precinct 2,
Okay.
the amount. at the recommendation of HR, so you won't run out of money.
Thank you. She had
But
told
that's
me.
not general fund, that was precinct.
How many part-time you working?
Just one.
What,
One.
how much money you putting in there? Just in general? I've got 2 part-times, I might need to increase mine.
Mine was low because mine was just a summer help, but now I'm going to keep a part-time going year round, so she had to bump it up a little bit.
Shelley,
Where are
can
the
you see
commissioners'
mine?
budgets at? Are there bookmarks on here? Nope.
No, I don't.
What are,
My part-time line? Hang on, I can answer my own question.
hang on, I'll get it.
There's Jason's.
You printed out?
Your part-time line is, 35,000.
Let's bump it to 50. Well, does that create you a bunch of paperwork,
No, that'll increase your,
benefits and stuff? If it's a big issue, if I
no, it's
need,
not a big issue.
I'll move it to contingency out of contingency at some point if I need to.
I mean, I can change it, it's no
Let's
problem.
bump it to 50. I'm working 2, so.
Okay.
Why would the part-time change the benefits?
FICA, retirement,
The more you spend, the more it's gonna cost.
Can you, I can't find mine in the computer program.
yours is on page,
Thank you.
53, if you can
Isn't it?
do it by page,
Page 53?
of the report I sent.
He doesn't, extra labor right here. Extra labor's showing blank on his. Looks to me like Shelley.
I'm showing 15,000.
It's 25,637.
Yeah, okay,
Look in the approved column.
25,637.
I'm seeing 15,000 on
That's
extra
in the
labor.
requested,
I'm sorry.
that's in the requested column. Look over to the right in the approved column.
Look at there,
I'm
there's
looking it up.
622.
But you're still, even with that change, you're still giving money back,
Yeah.
increasing your fund balance.
I just want to check a few lines, make sure I'm good. Yep. I'm good.
Precinct 3 or 4, have any changes?
That we're good.
No? Okay, so what you have in your hand, you need to read before you adopt the budget, but you gotta
Right.
open the public hearing first.
Right.
That's not the saying to adopt the budget, that's before.
Right, so item number 33, at this time, is no action. We go into the public hearing on the budget. So item number 33, at this time, is no action. Item number 34, we'll open a public hearing on the budget at 11:39. Anybody have anything to say on the budget? Item number 35, we will close the public hearing at 11:40. Item number 36, deliberate and consider possibly setting elected officials' salaries and expenses.
Did you,
Somebody speaking to me?
did you pass those down?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
You just need a motion.
I'm sorry?
You just need a motion for 36. You just need a motion for 36.
Motion for 36.
Need a motion for 36.
Is that one of the ones we need to read?
Just say so moved.
I'll make the motion on that one. So moved.
Okay, item number 36. Commissioner Snuggs moves to approve. Do I hear a second? I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
You were opposed or late?
I opposed.
You opposed?
You asked the question, right, any opposed, and I said
Yeah,
aye.
okay.
You oppose the elected officials' salaries?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Gosh almighty. 33, 34 and all tied together, not broken out here that I can see. I'm sorry.
Which one did you oppose?
I didn't oppose anything. I'm sorry. Should have voted aye.
Okay.
They're posted, right?
All right, item number 36 is, we have a motion, we have a second, and we have 4 and
No, it's 5-0.
5 and 0, okay. Item number 36 passes 5-0. Item number 37 is deliberate and consider adopting the FY24 budget. Now then,
You have to read this statement
right,
first.
is that this one right here?
Yes.
Yeah. This budget will raise more revenue from property taxes than last year's budget by amount of $1,174,404, which is a 0.06% increase from last year's budget. The property tax revenue to be raised from new property added to the tax roll this year is $518,942. And then
All right, so then the order
to move right here, is that it?
adopting the budget,
Yeah.
yes.
And I move to adopt the budget of Cooke County, Texas as presented this 11th day of September 2023 and to become effective on October 1st, 2023 for the 2023-2024 budget year. This budget has an M&O tax rate of 3205, a debt tax rate of 0.0038, a no new revenue.
Here's the budget one.
So it's a little confusing the way the agenda is because it's not real clear, but
Well, with
as
all-
far as which item we're on.
we're on 37 trying to adopt the budget, but.
See, I see it under my bookmarks, but when you go over to the supporting documentation, there's not anything numbered. It's,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, I don't know, old fashioned.
This does get confusing, but
Senate Bill 1 changed.
we're
all this.
right. Okay, item number 37 is to deliberate and consider adopting the FY24 budget. And I move that this budget will require raising more revenue from property taxes than in the previous year, and thus the property tax rate be increased by the adopting of a tax rate of 0.3243. This tax rate will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. The tax rate will effectively be raised by 0.06% and will raise taxes for maintenance and operations on a $100,000 home by approximately $65.79. This tax rate will raise more revenue from property taxes than last year's budget by amount of $1,174,404, and the property tax revenue to be raised for new property added to the tax roll this year is $518,942.
It's redundant, I know, but they've added in
Yeah,
where you have to say it 14 times. Kidding, but
They meaning the state.
they, meaning the state.
Senate Bill 1 when they changed the tax calculation.
But you gave us this summary a couple of weeks ago with no new revenue, voter approval rate, and then with the unsecured increments. And initially, I thought we were going to generate 760,822, and that number's now 518,000.
Yes, because I didn't include the, see the 2 blank spots?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't include the new property tax amounts.
So I'm not losing my mind. It
No, you're
decreased
not.
by a couple $100,000.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Okay, good.
It's been stuff added in the last 8-10 years.
Yeah. Some of it just to make it more confusing, I think, Judge.
I think so, but that's all right. I think we are right now. I
It
think
needs
this
to
is
be a
correct.
record vote.
Yes.
Do you get a second?
We don't have a second yet.
Oh, I second.
Okay, second, Commissioner Snuggs. Okay. Commissioner Hollowell,
No.
Commissioner Snuggs,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Commissioner Arndt,
Aye.
Commissioner Sicking. All right, budget passes 4-1. The one abstention, or the one nay, is Commissioner Hollowell. That was item 37.
I think I got it on the right spot now, Judge.
I think so. That's all right. Item number 38, we're going to open a public hearing on the county tax rate at 11:47. Does anybody have anything to say on the tax rate? Anybody up here? All right. Close the public hearing at 11:48. Now, is that this,
They should say
That's the budget.
That's the
adopt the
budget.
tax rate.
yeah,
I'm not tripping
Did
on that.
did you find
It's only
it?
clutter you got under there.
Yes.
this one right here, yeah. Okay. Item number 40 is to deliberate and consider adopting the 2023 Cook County tax rate for maintenance and operations, tax code 26.05. And I move that this budget will require raising more revenue. I guess that has to be added in there again, the budget part, okay? From property taxes than in previous year, and thus the property tax rate be increased by the adopting of a tax rate of 0.3243. This tax rate will raise more taxes for maintenance and operations than last year's tax rate. The tax rate will effectively be raised by 0.06% and will raise taxes for maintenance and operations on a $100,000 home by approximately $65.79. This tax rate will raise more revenue from property taxes than last year's budget by an amount of $1,174,404, and the property tax revenue to be raised from new property added to the tax roll this year is $518,942, and I have so moved.
You are so moving?
I am so moving.
Second.
I did right there.
No.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second, and
Is that one broken out? That page doesn't break it out, does it? Where it's so much for M and O, so much for.
no,
So it's a different, another page.
no,
Is there
You
still a
can-
page like that, Shelley?
I don't know if Chelsea put one in here or not?
right here.
Usually it's broken out and we add them up, but we do the, like, interest and seeking separate, right,
Yeah.
Shelley? Yeah.
Did she type?
This has some of it, not everything.
No. Did she do it?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not, it's a little bit different format. But you got a motion in a second. You're ready for call your vote.
Well, the rate would be, general fund is, or M and O, I guess, is .1804. Permanent improvement is .0150. Road and bridge is .1250. And farm to market is .0001 for a total of .3205. And it's a roll call vote.
Aye.
Okay, Commissioner Hollowell is an aye. Commissioner Snuggs is an aye. I am an aye. Commissioner Hart
Aye.
and Commissioner Sicking. All the tax rate has passed 5-0.
I'll retype that and add the numbers on it.
Okay.
And there should be another one, right, for interest and sinking.
Item number 41 is to deliberate and consider adopting the 2023 Cooke County tax rate for interest and sinking.
That
tax-
amount,
Say again?
that amount is .0038.
.0038.
And you don't have a form for that one.
Okay. Did everybody get that amount? 0038.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the .0038 for the interest and sinking tax.
And that debt will be paid off in February of 2024.
February of 2024, you said?
Almost there.
Getting close.
Second.
We have a motion, Commissioner Snuggs, second Commissioner Arndt, to adopt the Cooke County tax rate for interest and sinking, .0038. All in favor?
Roll call
Or do we
vote.
do a roll call? Commissioner Hollowell,
Aye.
Commissioner Snuggs.
Aye.
And I am an aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Arndt, aye. Commissioner Sicking, aye. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 42, we go into executive session at this time. It is 11:44. Okay, we came out of executive session at 12:21. And item number 43 is deliberate and consider possible action regarding consultation with attorney regarding proposed regulatory ordinance, real property, contract being negotiated, or personnel matters. Does anybody have a motion?
This what we need to approve? What did he say?
I think Gary hit it.
No, that was what I was trying to ask when you said, hey, let's move back into session. So,
Oh,
I didn't know exactly.
no, I mean, I thought you had good wording for it earlier.
no, I was trying to get that word.
Oh, okay.
Well, I wanted to understand it so I could make a motion. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
did y'all get the wording for it?
The grant?
To approve the mitigation grant from the general land office.
All right, motion to approve the mitigation grant
Or accept.
or accept the mitigation grant from the general land office. I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. The motion passes 5-0. That brings us to item number 44.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Item number 44 passes. Do what?
What time?
12:25.
12:25.